All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're live and good to go.
Good evening. This is the Monday, September 27th meeting of the Neighborhood Service District, Miami Lakes, Section 1. And can we have a roll call? Will each member just state their name, who's present?
Hi, Renard Amaro, Lake Carroll.
Boris Foster, Lake Glenellen.
Suzanne Soriano, Lake Cynthia.
Maribel Baldwin, Lake Sandra.
And we've got two new members. I mean, you said where you were. I mean, just very briefly, if you want to say anything, if you want to, if not, that's fine.
I've been living in Miami Lakes since 1994. Living in Lake Carroll since 1998, and served one way or the other as either president, vice president, or some capacity since then on the board. And just looking forward to working with you folks and learning as I go along. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Yes, I'm a Miami Laker also since 1994. Lived by the elementary school originally, and then I downsized to a townhouse in Lake Sandra on the other side of Palmetto. I'm very involved in community issues countywide, and decided to get involved in my local issues now that I have more time. So that's why I'm here.
And is there anyone here for public comments? You have 3 minutes to make your comment. Yes.
Testing.
Hi, my name is Maritza Quintana and I'm from Lake Cynthia. And I have two complaints. One is the trash can, that yellow trash can that is ugly, like you have no idea. I don't think we need that in there. It should be hiding behind the fence. It looks disgusting. And also we have garbage right when you exit in the gate. Like people eat and they threw things in there, like beer. I have pictures. So I would like to know who's responsible for picking up that.
My name is Joel Maxwell. I'm in Lake Carroll. I lived in Miami Lakes since 1988, in Lake Carroll since 1998. I'd like to echo made previously about the appearance of trash cans and so forth around the guard gate right there on Balboa Road. Also, I'd like to comment that we will be discussing landscaping, correct?
We will be discussing it, but it'll be for the board to discuss. So any comments you want to make in
Yeah.
reference to that, now's
think-
the time.
I think it's appalling. I've surveyed the other guard gates, houses, so forth, on the west side of the Palmetto. Ours is worse. It is clearly worse. I've sent photos to City Hall here about it. I am the one that made the comment that landscaping was bad, and that same day it was cut, not because of my comments, just happenstance, I'm sure. But I don't understand why the other guard gates, even behind Balboa, can look as nice as they do, and ours be so bad. On the north side of Miami Lakes, those guard gates are nice. If we need to spend a little more money for the structural appearance of that guard gate, guard house, and for the landscaping, I don't mind doing so. So I would like that addressed. That's it.
Want to speak as well? Any public comments? Did everybody else? Testing, testing.
Hello, is on. Yeah, I'm a residence 15130 Fintry Place. And I have my issue are two. Number one, me, myself, completely and totally against the camera because the camera is bring the expense and is not going to help anything because we are not living in the crime area. There is no crime. I'm living there more than 25 years. I never heard that. And I never see any crime. We are living in the nice neighborhood. We don't need it. How about the rest of the other areas in Miami Lake area? Whether they need a camera, we don't need it. So we have the guard that his job is not just to sit there. His job is to open the gate and we need there and that is okay. I'm okay with that, but not with the camera. Number one is take away our privacy. And number two, camera go broke all the time and something happens, some problem like that, still we going to stuck with that and paying every year, every month or whatever is the required. Everybody need their own protection and I believe everybody have in front of their house, inside the house, the camera. So why we bother another expense for the whole community and put the camera there? This is my number one issue because we are, as I said, we are not living in the high crime, all the crime, zero crime, not at all. There is nothing. So we don't need that. Number one. Number two, should advise the people who live in the lakefront houses when their people come, when the grass people come to cut the grass, don't push that leaf inside the lake because it's not going to help. I see all the time, I live by the lake and they're going to push all that leaf inside the lake and it's going to make dirty every year, every month, more and more and more. So we have to warn and send a letter to the owners that is stop to the people who come cut the grass. Don't throw in the lake because it's going to make dirty every year. Lake I've been watching for like 25, 30 years and it's getting darker and darker no matter how much treatment you're going to give them. But we have to stop that 50% and we need that. That's my two problem and my issue. Thank you very much.
Is anyone else present want to give a public comment? Okay. I have, I think, 5 comments that were emailed in, and I'll go through. Let me go through those first. Comment from Lizette Perez. We're opposed to having cameras at our guard gate. We do not need them, and having police cars chasing in our area endangers our citizens and children at play and could be deadly. We have remained as safe throughout the years, and we feel this is unnecessary. Regards, Lizette Perez, 8365 Menteith Terrace. Second comment, Sylvia Gonzalez. Hi, I won't be able to attend the meeting in person, but I did want to say that the guards have been very attentive and diligent at their jobs, more so than they have at any time I've noticed in almost 20 years of living here. Additionally, I believe that the license plate readers are an excellent idea, both as a deterrent and as a safety measure. If signage could accompany the use of such cameras, then perhaps there will be less motivation for car vandalism, thefts, and mail thefts I keep hearing about. That's it. 15111 Menteith Place. Third comment, Tina Gallagher, 8240 Menteith Terrace. I will not be able to attend the meeting, but would like to ask one for you to present my comments at the meeting. First, consideration of license plate readers at all incoming and outgoing gates. I do not agree with placing license plate reader cameras at the incoming and outgoing gates in my community. 2, options for the usually inoperable center lane. This needs to be resolved quickly to prevent the traffic gridlock. 3, retention of the current security guards and company. The current security guards and company are doing a better job than the previous company, so I would retain them. Thank you for providing me the opportunity to make these comments. Tina Gallagher. Fourth comment, this is from Esperanza Reynolds, 8465 Menteith Terrace. To do things over and over, expecting different results is the meaning of insanity. And now old, I refuse to get there. But be aware that we voted for guard gates with the expectation that our ordinance would be respected and adhered to. We wanted a guard gate manned by guards that are not armed to create the illusion of a highly protected area. We do not want cameras to intrude into our lives, but even more important, we do not want cameras that will attract police chases in our area. Why? The only time there was a police chase at high speeds through our narrow, winding streets, the car fleeing tried to get out of Glenny Terrace, causing damage we had to repair and pay for. We do not want our license plates recorded, and we do not want anyone to track our movements, period. There seems to be a clear agenda to drive the entire community, the entire county towards a network of cameras that report to the police our every move. That is entirely out of our hands, but not at our entrance. To discuss cameras, please be aware that we demand the following steps be taken first. 1, send 100% of property owners a mail out that discusses what the special taxing district is, where the money goes, where the charges come from, when we are obligated to pay, and how important it is because our titles can be sold if we fail to pay the real estate taxes. Who pays non-ad valorem taxes? For example, when we voted to have the guard gate, Regatta Point and the Anchorage were not developed yet. Yet today, they have their own guard gate for safety. All their properties are charged, which is, in our humble opinion, double taxation. 2, why? That is the final question. Why do we still have guard gates? Why do we still accept non-ad valorem taxes? Why, after paying for the guard gate since 1994, are we now discussing a new approach of license plate readers, changing the technology of the arms, which you voted to achieve? Yet ever since we touched on something that was working, good or bad, but it has been with us for a long time. Now, the new has all sorts of issues. As arms lift, they say, because we have Sun Pass permits, are we being charged through the Sun Pass to come into our homes? 3, to do anything whatsoever with our money after sending the mailer to 100% of property owners, please ask for a vote of the community as to what we want to do on our behalf. 4, we resent the nomination of individuals that have failed to ask the community for input. 5, in Lake Glen Ellen, Mr. Foster not only asked us for input, but he regularly communicates with 141 of the community, and the question is, why don't you? 6, we now have a sign at the entrance, but as I ride my bike, when I see neighboring community property owners, I make a point to discuss this group, and invariably, I get a blank stare. 7, to recap, a mailer, 100% of the community explaining what the special taxing through non-ad valorem taxes are. Then, after further utilization of our money put into the vote of 841 property owners on the record, and only once we receive receive our approval, should you continue to consider what, if anything, we want you to work on, to continue to see committees doing the administrative bidding of either the administrative side or the political side. The council is important. We want a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And that is why we agreed to have the HOA representative representing us before government. Thank you. Actually, there's one more comment. This is from Georgina Lucis, 8450 Menteith Terrace. As president of Lake Glenelyn Homeowners Association, and after working very hard with hope to write the above comments, all I want to state on the record is ditto. And I think we have one more from Helen Costa. I am one of the committee members representing Lake Elizabeth. I live on Glenkern Road, and I am also this committee's secretary. Good afternoon, esteemed committee members, town and neighbors. I cannot be present today at the meeting as I'm quarantining for everyone's safety. This committee does not have the ability for one to appear virtually. Therefore, I am left with the option to submit these few lines for this important meeting. 1. As to agenda item 6B, there is one HOA that has not had a representative on this committee for quite some time. I believe for over a year. Ms. DeVaclio has not attended. Several meetings ago, we as a committee discussed her lack of attendance together with the rules of attendance of this committee. But to date, no action has been taken. I hope we do take action and get all the HOA represented without further delay. 2, as to agenda 5D, Kent, our security guard company. A, at the last meeting, we discussed the problem and discrepancy of communications in reference to one specific guard. Kent had informed Jeremy that the guard was no longer with the company several months ago, yet the guard was at the gate last month. The rep said he would look into this and get back with us. I'm interested in wrapping up this matter. It is important we discuss things and see everything through to its end. B, at the last meeting, we discussed the possibility of changing the post orders to using electronic devices that took pictures of tags and wanted direction as to any associated costs as well as the battery life, etc. C, at the last meeting, the rep informed they have cameras that would capture all activity with date and timestamp. He was going to get back with us with more information about the pricing on that option. 3, as to agenda 5G LPR cameras. LPR cameras have been discussed, and we've heard from the police department the pros to the addition of LP cameras. We have discussed this in the past, but no action was taken. I believe the agenda alludes to the need to change the transponder used as a result of the IR reader issue we have. If that is so, we would then bring us the ability to have an account of the transponder issued and account for each one, something we do not have at this time. If this is the same, if that is this case, that change together with LPR cameras would allow us to keep our community safe. I do not believe our community is a relatively safe one. Wait, I do believe our community is a relatively safe one. Sorry about that. But I still lock my doors and windows. Many of us have alarms and cameras as well. Keeping our community safe should be our goal. I propose that the committee consider installing an LPR camera at the exit lane. It would be a compromise. The expense of one is much less than installing four of them. Placing one at the exit will lessen the concern that owners may have car chases behind the gate, something that the police have informed us is not their policy, yet the concern is still a valid one. That one LPR camera may be the one that helps us get one criminal out from behind the gate and out of the immediate community, or even save a life. We have spent a lot of time on lighting and safety and aesthetics. We have spent a lot of time on landscaping as it is our duty to keep the gate area up to par with our community. To close our eyes and ears to technology that would increase our safety is irresponsible. 4, I had submitted prior to the last meeting to add the gatehouse cleaning, painting, maintenance to the agenda. And it didn't make it on the agenda. And I again timely submitted it for this meeting, but it didn't make it either. I would ask that it either be added or made an agenda item for the next meeting so it can be discussed. We're doing electric lighting and landscaping work to the guardhouse area, which is a natural progression as the guardhouse itself it's cleaning, painting, and maintenance. Thank you for listening. Helen McCoskey. That's it for the written comments. See. We have the old business items. Helen isn't here to present the minutes, but did everyone receive a copy of the minutes? There should be 2 minutes, one for June 17th. Did everyone have an opportunity to review the minutes? I make a motion to approve those minutes. Okay, the second motion? Okay. Oh, I think I'll just press it on. Here we go. Yeah.
Second the motion.
Louder.
I second the motion.
Perfect. Thank you, Suzanne.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Anyone against? Okay. Passes. There was also the August 25th minutes. Everyone had a chance to review those minutes as well. Okay, yes, I make
Not
the
as a
motion.
member, but I was. here.
Oh, you can make the motion?
So
Yes, I second that motion. Can we have a vote on approving? Anyone opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. The of the old business, the first one, I guess, for review is the lighting project update and timeline. Jeremy, do you have any information? Or Christina?
Yes. Yes, I've been in communication with Chuck with ECS. And he informed me that they should be in receipt of the different poles already ready to go by October 1st. So installation would happen short thereafter, barring any rain delays.
And once it starts, it's, I think from the last time you said it was less than a week for it to be installed.
Correct. Between 4 to 6 days, again, barring any rain delay. And then once that installation is done, then we would go ahead and rip out any remaining vegetation so that we could do the new implantation of the plants and trees.
And that brings us to old business item C, landscaping project. So it's so about a week after October 1, so about October 8th, there's going to be.
Correct. Correct. We can't do any of the planting until all of that underground lighting is complete. So once it is complete, that is when we'll start installation of the new plants. Yes.
I'm sorry, did anyone, any of the committee members have any questions about the lighting or the landscape?
And just one thing I wanted to add, we did have some public comments relating to the landscape. So we even looked at some feasibilities of trying to do sections of the landscaping, but the more and more we try to dissect it and try to get ahead, the more and more chances for damaging the new landscaping. So even though we tried to make use of the time that we could and installing what we could, after going back and forth with both our landscape and our electrician, it didn't seem feasible to go ahead and even try to start some of the landscaping to at least get ahead this fiscal year. So unfortunately, the landscaping is at the mercy of the lighting project because there's going to be some underground boring. There's going to be lines that need to be run to the actual guardhouse. So we tried to see what we can expedite, but unfortunately, it's going to have to wait for that full implementation of the lighting system before we can even go ahead and start to remove and replace under the new approved landscape plan, which I would encourage for the HOAs if they haven't received it to let us know so we can send you that plan again and that rendering of what the proposed design looks like, so you can share with your individual HOA, because I know we do have some individuals that mentioned that the landscaping isn't up to par, and that's what this board decided as well. They already voted on a new landscape plan that's going to bring in new vegetation. It's going to actually match some of our other existing areas and add a little bit of a flair to the entrance too with some trees.
Jeremy, while you're speaking about the guardhouse area general, is the, who takes care of like the garbage can, the yellow garbage cans, the famous yellow garbage can? Who does that?
So that is, the cleaning of it's taken care of by our same waste and refusal company that goes throughout the town. So they'll dump that out as they approach the town, as they approach the community, they'll take care of that as well. However, this is something that I'm going to review with Christina because I have worked with the resident that's here in discussions of that. And we have, back in my time, removed it from that exterior location where it's visible. And it seems that it's been placed back out there. I will tell you that request wasn't from the actual security guard vendor. Turns out that was actually residents requesting it so they can dump before getting home any water bottles, any paper that they had in their car. So that is one instance where I could see the guard kind of put between a rock and a hard place, trying to decipher if they listen to the residents that essentially pay their salaries, or if they listen to Jeremy, who's requesting, hey, this is unsightly, it should be removed. But we'll definitely work on it, and I agree, it is an unsightly view, especially when you're entering the gatehouse. While some residents see it as an advantage, as a quick way to get rid of things before you get home, it's definitely not something that we want to see at the entrance of your guys' guardhouse.
I would have never guessed. Okay. Okay, and that's why there's some people miss apparently. Okay. Okay. So any follow-up questions?
And then I just wanted to add with the updates, I know that Helen Acosta, she requested to add during the landscaping, we had separate conversation and she was mentioning, since we're doing the landscaping, can we go ahead and get the gatehouse repainted? So that was my thought with not adding a new item to the agenda, but mentioning it during the discussion of the landscape. If the board wanted to go forward with doing some sort of painting on the exterior, I did provide the board with an update in August that the guardhouse was just pressure cleaned to help to get rid of some of the, buildup that takes place over time with water. So it did just get pressure cleaned, but that would be up to the board to discuss. If you guys are interested in exploring painting options, we could get quotes for that as well.
Is that something that would be within our budget?
When we first evaluated this, we were looking at the options of using our handyman, and all we would be really paying is the materials and the labor. That was something that was manageable. However, what Christina's been dealing with is a little bit of some delays, and we might look at potentially looking at an actual painting vendor to go ahead and take care of this on a little bit more of an expedited schedule. With that, we are waiting to get quotes back to see what it would cost for an actual third party vendor to provide the service, rather than us providing the materials and our handyman taking care of it. But we're looking at a few $100s. Within that, we can probably work it within the budget.
Okay.
Which guardhouse are we talking about?
With the right entrance with the three gates, with the
On
visitor
Balgowan.
and to-
So this is one. This is.
Yes, just
okay,
one.
all right.
Yes, so, okay. And so that will be done immediately after, so it would be the lighting, the landscaping, and then the painting of the guardhouse.
Correct. And if needed, once we get those quotes back and we're seeing actual figures, we can go ahead and bring it before the board for a decision. At that time, we can also, what I've done in the past with other communities is I was able to provide a rendering of different palettes. So what color are we looking to repaint it?
Okay. Let's see.
Do we have the ability of voting through email, or we have to vote here? I'm sorry.
But yes, any votes would have to be in person and have to be during an open sanction meeting with quorum.
Thank you.
Regarding the renderings, you said they have been sent to the HOAs, or you're sending them to?
No, when I say other communities, I'm talking about our other guard gate districts. So Royal Oaks requested to have potential palette, I guess, color swatches. And I went ahead and was able to develop some renderings with those different colors.
Okay, I guess we're moving on to item D of the old business, which is Kent security contract. And I know Helen's in her comment and last week spoke to the issue of the I think she was happy with Kent, except for one guard, which she was particularly unhappy with because wasn't doing its job, felt he was more of a greeter than a security guard. But otherwise, she thought all the others were acceptable and actually sounded pleased. Is this, but I had the impression that because we spoke so much about maybe possible termination, was this on that, what trajectory is this? Is it on a renewal trajectory, or is it on looking at the possibility of termination? I wasn't quite sure.
That individual that she mentioned?
Boris, correct me if I'm mistaken, but you're asking more, the intent of continuing this conversation is along the lines of what we're looking to do long-term.
We can't, yes.
Correct. So what we had left off was that there were certain issues that needed to be presented. We informed everyone that make sure that it goes first to the proper channel of communications in order to first rid the issue and steer clear of that. With that, as she stated, the conversation became more of individual cases and not the overall contract termination. We did present the dates for the renewal that is coming up. These contracts are 3 years awarded with 2 options for renewal, 2 years additional of renewal. We did present the option that we can review, and I believe that's what we did by sending the contract out. In January, we can start the process to see if we wanted to renew or not. The last conversations that we understood with the representative here as well was we were going to be attacking these individual cases and issues. And if the problem continued, at that point, we would see if we wanted to seek a renewal or if we wanted to seek termination and resolicitation for the services.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, regarding the contract, I was looking for a copy of the contract on the website and I could not find where the contracts are. Sorry, maybe I'm looking at the wrong place on your website. So I would like to have a copy of the contract or the link to where I can link and look at it. And you said you already have drafted a new RFP for the next.
We have
still-
not. We
Okay,
have
so
not.
we're working on the current contract.
Correct.
Okay, so if I could get a copy of that so I can familiarize myself with the conversation. Second, my other question was, we're talking about budget. Is there an issue of not having enough funds to address the different issues that come up with the current budget?
No, the issues are more in line with post orders and the completion of contractual tasks and services being performed by the vendor. not so much a budgetary number. We're not restricted as far as what amount of supervision we have. It's nothing along those lines. It seems to be individual staffing issues.
Okay.
And as you heard from Boris and through Helen, it seemed to be one individual that was posing more of an issue.
Yeah, I listened to that. No, because I wanted to see why we lowered the budget the year before if we don't have enough money. Why $19,000 were, I mean, where we're giving the tax break of like 2 pennies per person or something, if there's not enough funds. So that was my question.
So when we took over the contract actually from the county and resolicited under our own terms, we were able to actually secure better pricing.
We also have worse service,
And
especially.
that- And I'm not, I don't mean to cut you off, and that's where the conversation, that's what I was gonna do too. We're still deciding where we are with Kent as a security vendor.
Okay, and I think that Ken just does the guards, but the town does the actual maintenance of the gates. Okay, right now, we still don't have the center gate. The visitors gate is not working, it's up. It's been up for 2 days. And the cars are stopping out of courtesy for the security guard that's there, but the gate is up. And we have no idea of when that center gate is going to work. So my question is, and you're not answering this right now, but if I could have that information, how many of the users or homeowners have transponders? And is there a goal of getting a certain number using transponders? Should it be 100%? Should everybody have a transponder if they are homeowners within the service area? Is that a goal of the committee or a goal of the town to make sure that, because that will resolve some of the issues then with the visitor issues. So those questions can be answered later for the next meeting, but I wanted on this item to put them down.
So some of those items will be discussed on, what is that, item 5E. So actually, the next item, we'll be able to discuss that. We'll talk about the center lane and some of the guard gate, the guard gate system and some of its deficiencies.
Does anyone else have a comment regarding Kent Security?
No, I just want to clarify, the contract will be over January. Is that when we have time to renew it?
No, it's somewhere, I believe it's June.
Okay.
It's June or July, but we put that date of January out there so we have enough time. If we do go to the option of termination, we have proper time to solicit, secure enough vendors to actually go ahead and be a part of the competitive bidding and still not have any gaps in service.
Okay. Thank you.
Also, I believe in the last meeting, Helen brought it up where she wanted to get pricing for cameras. As they do in some other, the gates, camera taking pictures of the tags as they come in. Is that being addressed also by Kent?
So Kent is currently not doing that. What we are working with them is to look at the feasibility of if, I don't know if you meant cameras as in a stationary camera or the same devices that, the same devices that SFM use.
Right.
So we're currently looking and trying to finalize if there is going to be an associated cost.
Okay.
Currently, there isn't one that is dictated at the other guardhouses in other districts. Or Kent is just trying to confirm that they can move to that same system
Okay.
and not incur a cost.
I just want to be sure I on this. So they're coming back with a price proposal, which includes a camera system.
It's not a camera system, and that's what I was trying to confirm. It's like a cell phone, basically.
Okay.
It's an organization issued phone that basically takes pictures and just records all that data rather than the handwritten log forms.
Thank you.
And just to comment on the Kent situation about that one officer that we were told was let go, but then was seen there not too long after, it was confirmed that he was absolutely removed from the Miami Lakes different posts. So he wasn't just moved to another place in Miami Lakes. He's not in Miami Lakes at all.
I have a comment. Am I on here? Yes. At the last meeting, we explored the cell phone or whatever you're speaking of, and we thought that that could be a big help to the guards, who right now are limited because they don't have a middle pass through. And it's a lot of work for them to do everything they have to do by hand. At that time, Kent was here, and I thought he said there's no charge for that. Am I mistaken? And has it taken him a month to figure out whether there is or not?
He did say, I listened to the, I listened to the recording again at length, just to make sure we were hitting all the heads. And he did say he'll have to look into it. He did say he'll have to look into it, and he wasn't 100% sure. So we have not received that final word back yet.
Any other questions? Okay, moving on now to E, about the center lane and the options. And I guess this kind of, there were other questions regarding, even the guest gate that has been up for 2 days. If we could, I mean, they're both very related. I know with the last time we were looking into the possibility of new clickers, or you please tell me or tell us.
Hello, yes. So we were just notified of that, that visitor gate that has been sent to APS. And so that should be fixed, if not today, tomorrow morning for sure. He did confirm receipt of, that he received that it needed to be fixed. So he said that he would deploy his gentleman to go ahead and fix that visitor gate that, that you just mentioned that was broken. Now, do you want me to start with the options, or do you want to? All right. So as you guys know and have seen, you guys have been driving through that entrance for quite some time now. We have received continuous complaints, definitely not compliments.
Kind of the opposite.
Right,
Somewhat
exactly.
the opposite, right?
About the gate arms malfunctioning and or not working. We just want to make sure that it's very clear that it's not the white tower with the arm that has the issue. It's the actual access control system that's inside of it that's been the issue. So I know that we did budget and spend additional dollars on that, the white tower. But the issue remains the TransCore reader. The TransCore reader is in that white pole that has a box on it. Does that make sense? So it's not it's not the actual pedestal, it's the white pole that has the reader. Now, the company that used to service our gates has transitioned into transportation. So they are solely working with the Department of Transportation. Now, so the issue with that center lane is that it's picking up anybody's car that has a SunPass in it. That's what it was doing. That's why we had to put the cone in front of it so that it does not let everybody in, because that's no longer a secure entrance. So there's a couple of options that we have to move forward to fix the center lane, and there's obviously different costs associated with such.
And 1 second, Christina, because I just want to make sure that we're all clear. Are we understanding like what Christina's trying to explain here? Because I know we received on our end internally, we get C-Click Fix, which is the resident portal for sending in complaints townwide. And we've had a few come in recently that are stating the gate arm is not working. So just for clarification, the gate arm system that actually lifts the LED boom and puts it back down, there is no issues with that gate arm. Those were the new systems that we just installed, I believe, a year and something ago. Those systems are fully operational, and I've seen no, other than every now and again having their fender benders with cars and their disagreements with cars that hit them, they've had no issues with their functionability. What the issue is the actual readers that register. So these lanes actually work on a 3-check system. One is the weight on the loop to register a vehicle, so that nobody walking by can just walk through the gate. 2, the reader is picking up access codes. Internally, it's running the codes through the control system, allowing the granting of access for the gate arm to then operate as it normally would. So our issue is with that actual TransCore reader. and the access control that's installed there. So we were able to change the actual infrastructure of the gate arm. However, the actual system controls remain the same system. That company, Transport, no longer works commercial and residential. They have completely moved to working with Department of Transportation entities. And yes, they have moved with highway, SunPass, and items of that nature. And one thing I wanted to clear up also was a comment that we had earlier that being charged SunPass. That's not happening. These systems cannot register and speak to the SunPass. However, that RFI reader actually works in the same frequency, so it can pick it up and it'll grant the automatic access. But in no way, shape, or form is it charging any individuals. It's not set up with any accounts with Department of Transportation or with any of those entities. So I did want to make that clear as well.
I think you made that clear last time. I mean, I heard that exact explanation, but you understand as a user, it doesn't matter to me whether it's the column or it's the bar. The thing is that the gate doesn't work. So the faster some sort of solution comes up is the only, as a user, all I see is that it just doesn't work.
Correct. And that's what we've been exploring. And believe me, I have been very creative in the ways I work directly with Christina and with our ATS vendor. I have attempted to find the quickest fix possible. But the issue that stands is being able to find a solution that is going to give us the same level of security as we had before. And that's what Christina is going to get into when we go through the options and explain what these solutions potentially are and their cost, because that's what it's going to come down to. While I've tried to look at expeditious fashion of finding solutions that don't incur any capital upfront costs, unfortunately, just like the gate arms themselves were outdated, no longer able to find any equipment or materials for them. That is what is starting to happen, especially when this company is no longer servicing any commercial resident clients. So we'll discuss a little bit more once she goes through the options, and I'll be able to clarify. And that's the idea. Today, we're trying to see what is the right next step to get this solved. And that is going to require some direction from you guys as far as how are we going to get this done within a timely manner and within our budgeted funds.
One question. Only one transport?
So right now there is one, the center lane that the problem child right now is that center lane. So that center lane model, which is different than the model on the further right, it's a newer model that actually picks up the SunPass. The one on the right does not, because it is a previous model. Now the issue with that though is it still registers to the same access control system. And even if we attempted, which is my first solution, right? Let's try to fix the one and find an old piece. The RFI reader is not being found. And then on the other side, if this RFI reader starts to give us problems like the center one did before, we would be in the same problem. We cannot fix it or repair it. We'd have to find a new one anyways.
So we should do it across.
Correct. And that's what we'll discuss a little bit more.
So that is one option, and I'll present these and there's no, I don't have a preference for anyone. It's obviously just up to the board. So one option would be to replace both RFI readers in that center lane and that far lane to avoid having the same issue that we're having now with the center lane. So with this quote, it would replace the RFI readers in those two, as well as the access control system for both of those lanes as well. The base level cost for this, we're looking at, is it going in and out, or is that me? Okay, I was like, is it the math? It's getting in the way. So the base level cost for this is $12,300. That is for the infrastructure. That is to replace the RF readers and for the access control system. Outside of that, so once we have a new access control reader, you're going to need either the barcode to put on every vehicle. So if we're talking about one for each home, that's $841. Those are going to come at about $10 a piece. If we decide to go the route of a different card that has that same access control system, that'll run about $15 a piece. And I believe those figures were somewhere between $12,000 and $20,000, depending on which option we were to go with. So that's on top of the 12.3 for the infrastructure. So that is one option. Another option, which is kind of like a short-term fix, I would say, would be, I'm getting my option B and C confused, but I believe that one would be to remove the transcore. Remove the transcore reader from that lane. And in terms of cost, this would be just minimal labor to have it removed. And then it'd be the cost to swap out any of the previous clickers. So anybody that had the old clicker that was read from the old RFI reader would need one of the new ones. So that would become pretty much the only cost for that one. But again, I don't know if we have an exact number of how many households have that type of clicker.
So and that goes to a point that was brought up previously by the board. We don't have those numbers now. However, we can compile, we do keep all the applications and those that are approved with the serial number of each click card paper format. So it would take us some time to go ahead and go through all of the approved applicants and those that were issued clickers, and we can find out how many there are. That's not to say that that's the exact number. That was what was handed over to us by the county.
Well, those numbers are right. But, and this is the other thing, my clicker right now is the one that I got in 1994. And the new one that my husband got now is different. And actually you have to actually touch it, which the old ones, I mean, they're there in the glove compartment
And it
and
just
they just
reads.
go by itself. So I go, how can we move forward with something that is more cumbersome than that we had 20 years ago? I mean, where's the technology on making things more not user-friendly? That I didn't understand.
So the issue with that is that it goes back to that transcore reader. So transcore used to issue us those cards, those smart passes. When transcore moved away from working with commercial and residential, they no longer, unless you have granted access through Department of Transportation or through another entity, you're not granted those same similar cards that read off the transport. That technology is moving only towards, like I mentioned, highways, SunPass, and things of that nature.
I understand all that. I do. What I did not understand is the fact that I had to push that button. To me, it was like, I mean, I sat there waiting for the thing to open and it wasn't opening. And then, I had to push the button. But anyway, that's kind of petty. I just want to clarify on the second choice that you just mentioned. So that short fix, all it would take is to just collect all the old transponders from those like me that have those ancient ones. And then the problem is solved because then you moved everybody to that new one.
Correct. So there are some things to consider, and this is where I mentioned the replacing the service we had before with a similar service. By doing that, we circumvent the access control. That then is those newer click cards are speaking directly with the actual gate. There is no access control. So that middle lane would only be working on the brand newer, the newest generation clickers that speak directly with the gate.
Right. And then you just you collect all the old transponders from those people that have them, because that other gate will work the same as the middle gate.
So you actually really helped me see the difference between my option B and C. Option B is to only remove the transcore from the center lane. That means that far right lane would still work with those older generations for now, again, unless it
But it works
became
with both.
compromised. Say it again.
That lane works with both. The new and
Correct.
the old.
It currently works with both. So my
Correct.
option B is to just remove the transcore from the center lane. That means the center lane would only be accessible by the newer clickers, the one that you have, but not the one your husband has.
All the way around.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, the one that your husband has, but you don't.
Oh, yeah. Yes. What you said. So does that make sense? That would be option B, where the center lane is only for the newer click cards. That would probably have to have some sort of signage to let residents and everybody know if you're going to the center lane, only use the newer click card. Anything else would be the far right lane. So that is one option. And again, the cost for that, minimal labor just to remove it from that center lane, the cost for signage, and then we wouldn't even need to do the swap out at that point. Option C would be removing it from both. removing it from the center.
What I want to make clear again is that we are going away from the access control side of it. So we would be removing a checks and balance that we already have in place currently. That checks and balance, that infrastructure is currently outdated and is no longer servicing. We actually, in my time, found out not too long ago when we started this issue we saw on the center gate. We started running troubleshooting on the access control. One panel blew out. We replaced the motherboard of the panel. It's gone out again. We had to fix severed lines at one point, and it's going to continue to be an issue. And I've spoken to our vendor, and he's quite frank with us. He's worked with us now for quite some time since we took over. And while he would love to continue to charge us for these materials and equipment that are outdated, knowing that it's going to cost them a ton, and eventually they're going to go in a little bit as well, he blatantly said that it would be wasting money essentially by going this route, because we'd be paying for an item that no longer is being manufactured. Sourcing it would take time. And two, we'd be paying money for something that we know eventually it's not going to be viable moving down the road. And that's where I want to make sure we're clear. If we do remove those two RFI readers and we go away with the access control, and we move to only the newer click cards, those click cards are based on internal programming. Internal programming versus an actual software system that is maintaining each gate code and granting authority. Those click cards can actually be purchased individually by any resident elsewhere. That's where these field codes and these gate codes with the access control make sure that those click cards that are being granted by us and issued by us provide that code and only grant access for individuals with that code. And believe me, this took me quite some time to understand, and I'm still grasping all of it. So the real concern is that if we do go with this quicker fix option, which is possible, we would then be reducing the amount of security essentially we're providing. I don't know if I'm clear, and believe me, ask me questions, and if I have that answer, I'll give it to you.
No, because I'm not going to understand all the technical part of it, and that's not my job. I'm sorry. Thank you for doing that. Now, is there a staff recommendation?
Yes, and it's going to be in line with, like I said, I was on the phone about an hour earlier today, looking at any possible option that doesn't include this potential $15,000-$20,000 need for funds. And unfortunately, in order to maintain the level of service and to upgrade our system so that it matches and it continues to be a viable option in the future, the recommendation would be to go to this new access control system, swap the readers, and move to, and this is where an option comes before you, and you brought it up. There is an option to have no touch, no button necessary. We can actually have barcodes issued that are programmed, that can be placed on the vehicle and can be read as you're approaching. There's no need for intervention of any buttons, any other machinery, equipment needed on your own. It would be, rather than receiving a click card, you would receive a barcode. You'd place that barcode in the location that we'll describe. And at that point, as soon as you pull up to the gate, it registers your weight of the vehicle on the loop below you. You get near a reader, the reader will grant the access through the system and give the gate the okay to lift up. Then the second option, and sorry, that's where I was going back. The second option is if for security reasons, we didn't want to have an exterior barcode or something on the vehicle, or if that vehicle gets traded in for a lease, and then it becomes an issue of resticking it coming off, we can also look at having that clicker back in the car.
Jeremy, I have a question then about, so on the car, I think, maybe short term might be less expensive, but long term, as people keep trading out their cars. I mean, I've had my originally since 1994. We still have my wife and I still have the originals. If we were trading out, I can't imagine how many times we would have gone in and had to purchase. So so even if the price differential initially is,
It's $5. So
Yeah.
you're looking at a barcode that's registered, and the access controls are granted, and we have to actually log them in. But just it's under $10. And then if we were looking at the actual click cards, it would be somewhere under $15. So, and that was my point exactly with the vendor. While they wanted to sell us on the feasibility and ease of just having something placed and never worrying about a button, never worrying if by mistake you lent your card to someone and you don't have it in your car. But then that becomes the issue.
Yeah.
You lease, you have to trade in the car. You sell the car, you have to get rid of it. And typically these things, these barcodes, as soon as you remove them once, it's hard that they're going to stay reapplied on a new location.
Yep, go ahead.
I have a two-part question on this. And if this is something that's redundant, it's gonna have to put out, I apologize. When we exit the one that's there, is it a motion sensor or is it,
So that exit is just strictly a loop. It registers your weight and it moves.
okay, that answers one question. The second question I have is, what is actually wrong with it? Is it a board inside? The
So it's two things. One is the RFI reader. It is updated and it actually reads sun passes. Once it grants that sun pass, it basically bypasses the facility codes needed in order to grant the access to the gate arm. So as soon as it registers that same coding for a sun pass, it's going to immediately put it up. It's not going to even wait for the reading of any facility codes within a clicker you have, within a smart pass you have. It's going to grant the access.
Yeah, reason why I ask is we just had a similar problem where I work. We have an old alarm system and they have a board that they don't make anymore. But the way we got around it was we went to a place that refurbished them. But you're explaining something different, so.
And to that point, we actually went that same route as well. We went on the boards and had them repaired. Of the three, two were responsive. But overall, the system still won't work if at the end of the day, that RFI reader is picking up anything and everything.
I get it. Correct. Yeah.
One more question. Do we know how many similar systems around the county that were all run by the county, like this one was, have had the same issue that this particular one is having? And do we know how the county has handled it? If they have a vendor that they maybe we can piggyback on and therefore get a better price if we are using the same one? Do we have any information as to how it's been handled across the county? Because I'm assuming that the system, if it's having these problems with ours, others around the county is having it too.
So we haven't reached out to any other agency as far as similar issues. But now the thing to consider is this is the same time that the county took over and installed the gate arms. This access control system is roughly that same time. So 20 plus years of an outdated access control.
Right. So all the different taxing districts around the county that are using the same exact system, I'm assuming that by now are having the same issues and are being addressed countywide.
We have not reached out to any other guard gate districts at this time. That's definitely something that we can go ahead and make sure note and see if there are. Now, I will tell you though, what we did do was actually reach out to the vendor that serviced these gatehouses when they were under the county's control. We reached out to this vendor. They have worked with our vendor hand in hand, and they're of the same mind. This access control system and transport RFI reader system is no longer a viable option. We have looked at ways of trying to reprogram different cards to get rid of just the RFI reader and try to maintain that access control system. However, that system itself, that software, the boards that are there.
No, right. I understand all that. So
Yeah.
I'm just saying that we cannot be the only ones. And I would like to see then how it's been addressed.
That's definitely something that we can look into.
So Jeremy, I'm taking that the recommendation is these systems are all sunset. You know, any money spent on them, we're going to have to go back a year, 6 months, 2 years, and get the newer systems. So we're basically short-term throwing money out on a system that's going to be obsolete or is already obsolete.
Correct. And that is under all of my discussions, all of the time I've looked into this matter, research, that is everything that is alluding to why we came to this recommendation.
Then with that, is there, if we decided on, on the technology and the car versus the card. What time frame could they come back with a plan that we could review, that we could have a time frame and the cost potentially?
I don't have a turnaround time on this. Today is more of seeking direction and making sure that we're on the right track. And if this is something that the board is going to be considering, that we spend that time. And I'm definitely going to follow up with the options presented by board member. I'm sorry, your last name?
Balbin.
Balbing, and making sure that we look at the county's current concerns and any issues they have with their infrastructure and what are they doing. But I will definitely continue to work out as far as the final numbers, what is the total impact that we're going to be facing under this potential new infrastructure project that we'd have to take on.
And the major cost is the replacement of the
Access
cars.
control and the RFI readers,
Okay.
which that right now, as Christina mentioned, was close to 13,000. And that would still leave us with the task of replacing the existing cards that are out there.
And how were you would this be something an individual owner would have to pay for to swap out cards, or would it be something the district would pay for if they turned in their?
So as
cards?
all these cards were purchased and are still working, the intent would be they would be replaced, not new applications submitted. Essentially, it would be almost taxing twice. You paid for it, and now you're gonna buy it again. So the idea would be to work it within the budget.
Okay.
And even though we don't have a turnaround time as far as the full scope of this project and what that may look like, the idea is to bring this by the next either month. I mean, I would seem to have to be quicker, but bring it at the next meeting immediately for final review of the impact and for final decision if this is the route we want to go. Factoring, looking at some other insight from other agencies that might have similar issues.
Understood. I think the gate is getting old for quite a few people. So yeah, that's okay.
One question about the budget. The budget, is there any carryover? There's carryover from one year to the next. That's why you said that you didn't need 19,000 and you cut whatever, the 2 pennies a day that I don't pay now for that. If not, we would have had $19,000 carried over if we had not. According to the, I'm looking for that information in the.
I'm a little confused as to what you're asking.
Okay, here it says that we are saving right now $19,743.
Oh, that's all districts. That's all special taxing districts within the town.
Not 2020, not 2020, 2021.
21, correct. That's all districts. If I'm not mistaken, that's including all the special taxing, all the non-ad valorem that the town
Okay.
collects for its neighborhood service districts,
Okay.
not just your security
Which is
districts.
still about 2 pennies a day per resident, you know, and then we don't have the 19,000 to actually
But-
spend on something. But there is carryover.
Correct.
From that, so would that carryover be $20,000?
It's not anticipated for that. And that's another item that I had noted here. Our fiscal
carryover-
year hasn't closed out. So we are still running numbers. We're still paying out
Right,
invoices for this
Till the
year.
30th.
Right now, we're looking at a number somewhere closer to $10,000 that's unanticipated carry forward. It's not a firm number, but it is the range of what we're looking at right now. So that will pass on to your next fiscal year under capital infrastructure for any projects that we don't have currently itemized.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Let me see.
Yeah, that's. And then and I hate to continue being the same, there is a quick fix to that center gate arm, except it would only be allowing access for those individuals with the newest clicker. Yeah, no, I'm just saying that that's something that can be done with just about, I think, no cost. We would sever the one RFI reader that's currently picking up the SunPass, and it would only allow access for those who have the button clickers.
The
That's
problem
very
with that,
confusing.
I
Yeah.
think with so much confusion, people
Correct.
people think it's working, you'll have to get signage, even if you have signage,
Correct.
people are not gonna read it, and then there will be backups because people with old gate cards will not. Well, okay. Any other comment on the center lane or any other gate issue? Okay. We now have we're old business item F, which is the mail out draft.
Yes, if you see the 3 sheets, last meeting, you guys did motion to send out an informational that talks about what the NSD is and does. So I have 1 sheet there for that. 1 sheet has the how to obtain a click guard, which maybe depending on how the board decides to move forward with the center lane issue, that might look a little differently. But that is a draft, a step-by-step for how to currently obtain a click art if you wanted one. And then the 3rd page is just a survey, a quick survey. I know the board was interested in submitting a survey that gets sent to all of the residents to figure out how we're doing, what can we do better, and different things like that. So if you guys want to review that, and then like I said, it's a draft. So if the board is good with it, it's good. If there's any changes or discussion, more than happy to add or delete or whatever you guys feel.
So this is just on the heels of the last conversation, and really actually some of the conversations we've heard from public comments month in and month out. And it's basically building in that mailer that goes out that informs a little bit about the district. There's an understanding of what these districts are, how they were formed, how we got here, where we're at now, the town managing it. It also discusses the aspects of each, I believe we kept in each budget for the proposed fiscal year, and that's where you got those numbers from, as far as the savings over time. And then also building in that information which was requested by the board as far as how individuals can apply for click cards, which may be changing, but can apply for click cards, the entire process online, so that it no longer has to be a paper format. In some cases, we actually received, there was mail that was being returned constantly because it was under a template for an individual who's no longer here. So it was returned. I got something back from July just the other day. So it'll be completely, we would push for everyone to use it online. There's still paper applications. They can still be printed. It's also on that same website. And then the last aspect is that survey, which is part of it's the part of the promise as far as what the town did, making sure that we are checking in with the residents year in, year out. How are we doing? What are aspects where we need to improve? What are aspects that may have not been foreseen that we need to consider? And what are we doing well? And sometimes we want to hear what we're doing well as public servants. So feel free to always leave those comments as well.
Okay, last meeting, I wasn't a member of this group, but I was in the audience. And I heard the discussion about the need to inform the public of what a special taxing district is. One question, the survey, are they going to have to mail this back?
No, so it provides for the link. We
Okay.
provided it in paper just so you guys can see it, and we can, if there's any changes, we can make edits right now so we know what to change it for, but it would be online through an online provider.
Okay, so this is a directive to go and take this survey. And I've
Correct.
done that before. Then on the transponders or clickers, or whatever we're calling them, if we are going to go through this process of not knowing, I don't necessarily see a benefit of letting people know how to get one that may not be the one that we keep in the end.
So the only thing that would change would potentially be the pricing based off whatever option we go on the clicker. As far as the process, it would remain the same.
Right, but if I go to the website right now because I get this and I get one, that one may or may not be the one that works later on, correct?
Correct.
So why increase the number of something that might be obsolete and they have to go get it again?
That's for the board's discretion.
I think the information is great. I've worked in public information most of my career. I just tell you that I don't know that the residents are going to read it and that they will actually understand what it is that we're trying to convey. I mean, what are we're trying to let them know, PS, by the way, you live, you know, in this type of organizational. And if I was confused about the savings number here, I mean, if you're telling me we save, but we're not, it's not reflective on the table. I mean, that's why I said, why, why tell me something that is nowhere? I don't know. I didn't know that I paid 2 cents less last year because it's not reflected here. I think that if we're going to move forward towards having this change somehow, I think that maybe when that is decided as to this is what's going to happen, the gate's going to be fixed and you're going to have to get a transponder and this is where you get it. I think that might be the time to actually let them, the residents know what this is all about and how it works. I don't know that there would be a lot of value added by communicating all this information now without an action item associated with it. And by the way, you're gonna have a gate that works because, okay, oh, I'm glad that I know everything about this, but does my gate work? And again, that's my bottom line. So, thank you.
These forms for the informational forms, we really pushed for them for years, and they've never gone out. And there's always been a reason, and it's really surprising how many people don't know about the special taxing
Oh,
district.
I know, believe me, I know.
Yeah, I mean, I get,
I know how many people don't know.
I was, I told you, people who've lived there for
I know.
years would say, what is this? How do I get this gate thing? We're tired of standing in or waiting in that line. And, there's a special taxing district and they are just blown away when I tell them this. So, this was supposed to be an annual, how are you doing? It's a up, down vote. And I, some of your comments, I understand. Actually, we had certain things about the, why we have these savings, because there was a point where 50% of the budget was being forwarded every year. And we thought that's not fair. And that wasn't the purpose of taking it from the county to the city. And so we had sought a 10% cap. I now think it's written a minimum of 10% would be carried forward, but it was worked through over, there were several things that were worked through why it is, and it might seem like a small savings, but it's in the ordinance, and because there were excesses before where more than half the budget was being forwarded every year. And and that we just didn't think was a good idea. Things would come up and things would be done with all that money sitting there. But I understand, I think you have a good point about, so many things are changing right now. But I just wanted to see this go out for so many years. And we asked, and I'm just to have another delay of sending out this information to the community. Already we're seeing such great results with the sandwich boards, so people do respond if they know what's going on. Wow.
Mr. Chairman, I'm one vote and I'm a lay member of this group, so I'm not going to run it.
No,
I'm just one vote, so it would be fine with me, whatever goes on.
We're tight on time. And that's,
Okay.
I know the heated discussion of the gate arm, because that's probably their biggest concern. It's immediate concern. But yeah, we are running tight on time. And I definitely don't want to cut out, but I know that the LPR camera item was placed by Helen. And that is something that she made sure to mention in her comments. But before we move out of that, I just want to make sure that is there an intent for the LPR discussion, or was it, the item was solely from Member Costa. So, and I believe her points were made clear. And we are, like I said, running out on time. So I don't know if we.
Well, very briefly, I am not for the LPR cameras, never been. And she did address one thing very well. I've always thought that LPR cameras was a way of for the police to apprehend criminals. It's just the problem is I am where they're going to apprehend the criminals when they come in after when something is is checked off when the car passes through. She says going on just on the exit, which I appreciate. But the problem I have with this is when they came around. I mean, I understand the taxes generally library, police, at the discretion. But this was property owners being told, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get the non-armed guards, and then once you start saying, well, it's all security, let's enhance this, and we get away from what was voted on. I think we start, we have a straw in residents' pocket, and then we're turning it into a fire hose. I think it's the wrong way, and well, I know I'm short of time, but that's fiscal. I'm not for the expanding beyond what was in the ordinance.
Quickly, one quick clarification. This is what she asked Kent about, that it was no cost. So it's,
No, this is a different item. This is license plate readers all completely managed
Okay.
by somewhere else.
because I mean, when we talk about the fact that the guard won't have to be riding that, that looks really like 18th century when you walk in and she's right on that path. If that camera just takes it, and that is taken away from having them to do that, that was, but
No,
this is separate.
LPR cameras
Right,
sent to a
is it the
national
other one?
database.
Okay.
We'll have no, it's
Right.
really subsidizing
Yeah,
the
right.
police.
Thank you.
Yeah. Um,
And then I believe the intent, and I'm sure Helen can speak on it, but she'll be bringing this back up for a full discussion when she's able to attend.
And I think we discussed the new business, the click card, and I think we can wrap this up if you, unless you have something.
Are we going on the mail out?
Oh, you, well, actually, you don't want to mail out, so it would be if you know what, Jeremy, okay, I'll just go ahead and make a motion then. I make a motion that the mail outs presented by staff be sent within the next month. Is there a second?
I second it.
Any discussion? No, we had one point already made clear. No? You can go ahead and call it to a vote, Chair.
All the ayes? That's three. Okay, all nays? Okay, 2-1. Motion passed.
Motion passes. Thank you. And then we'll close this up. Yeah, click card applications we already discussed. And as far as the board member absence and removal, it was also mentioned in public comments. That individual was removed, and that is actually her replacement. So the one individual that was brought up has already been replaced. And she was actually, Ms. Del Cavo actually was the one who went ahead and placed her as her representative. So we are back to a full board, and we look forward to future meetings. With that, you can call for adjournment.
And motion to adjourn?
Second.
All say aye.
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 Thank you, everyone. Have a good night. Please forgive us for going over.
I see you. Yes. Sure. Yes, it's been a while. Which means everything is good.
How are you? And there's 7 of us? Yeah. I just came from, thank you. I came from Robertstown. Really? Oh. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more. Yeah. Oh, no. No. Discussing tonight. I have to leave at 8 o'clock, so we better vote quickly. I gotta tell Neil. Oh, good, we just made. How are you? Good. We're good. We're good. We did it. Rock and roll. So fast. Keep printing the budget here. Thank you. Okay, let's go. Seven, 10.
Yes, very well. With pleasure. Charles James,
Present.
Denise Madden,
Present.
Diana Soto, Elsa Reus, Eli Gonzalez,
Present.
Esther Colon, Felicia Salazar, George Lazo, Carla Acosta, Mireles Castilla, Neil Robinson, Nick Mastrovito, Suzanne Chupani, present. We have 7 members present, Chairperson Robinson.
Yes. Before, we didn't have it on there, but I want to talk about the theater. Right,
What was that? I
the
missed.
theater, the Main Street Players Theater.
I have one concern over those minutes as I read them, that something was added to our events calendar in the last meeting. Let me see where I see that. It was something that Ms. Reyes asked to be placed for the month of May. And I believe that we had already discussed and voted back in, I was looking at some of our, back in June. We had our events calendar review and we had a quorum, and once we reviewed it, we voted on it. So to add something to it right now, we need to vote.
What was it?
The Sanctity of Life, directed by Chairman Neil Robinson.
Correct. And I remember at the last meeting, that August 23rd, there was discussion of whether that was voted on prior to that meeting. And I'm not sure what the
Oh,
resolution
it's under
was.
new business.
Okay. Got it. Okay, no, it looks, yeah, everything else looks fine.
Okay. Yep. that's good.
To the chair, can you explain what the 3,000? They took it away. Thank you. Now I feel better. We received an email about T-shirts. Is that coming from this budget? We received an email, the members received it. That's from this budget that we're looking at right now.
No, for the one that's just closing in September.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure of that. Ending September 30th. I want to make sure. I wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, the email was sent out by me and that was for this year. So that's why there's a tight deadline for it because if it doesn't get in by Wednesday, then
I got it. Yeah.
I have a few responses. I can go over it.
I replied.
Yeah, I have a response from Carla, Denise, Charles, Suzanne, and Nick.
Not me.
Is there anybody else that needs a shirt?
I don't need a
I
shirt.
need a
no.
shirt, yeah.
You need,
I have, yeah. I'm good.
Sure. Thank you.
the two new things that we have.
A second motion.
Five. Okay. Seven.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Those that are opposed. Let the record show that the item is passed. As you all know, in our two previous meetings, we had talked about having a book talk with a local artist. Our book called Cash Freedom. Trying to do it in the month of September, today is September 27th. So that seems like that's not going to happen. Very important to really reading of some excerpts from the book. I will entertain a motion to
Chairman, can you give us the name of the author again, please?
There, Mary
Mary
Barnett Kirscher. I'll make the
And the
motion.
book- I'm having problems reading. I make a motion.
I'll second it. I'll second it.
Yes.
All those in favor of
Mary. Mary Barnett Kircher.
Mhm.
all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, another item, is Tony T. Foundation request funds to pay a mural on youth activity center wall. Here again. I don't know if we have to- let's get the number of funds.
That's what,
The board here to pay for it, I think. The request, it came to us twice.
yes.
The last time that we had the actual artist. And we were share with her one of the admins that you they had the first. But that you agreed to do that.
No, and last time we didn't have a quorum, unfortunately,
That's right.
because we could have voted on it and we had funds.
We'll vote on it tonight. Before October 1. And we'll talk with the legal.
Oh, okay,
So I will entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion.
All right. I will make that motion. We will. We on. For the
Activity center wall with the modified design that she brought, that the artist brought in the last time. Yes. Correct. Okay.
The traditional, things that we're aware of. Yes, correct. And so everybody will be represented, God willing.
Okay, thank you.
I raised the same question before. I still have a problem with youth activities not being involved in this. I don't understand why. It's their building, sir. Okay.
activity, passport has nothing to do with the youth activity center. I learned that I'll have to after the meeting is over. I spoke to the chairperson.
Through the chair, I have the same objection. Then it should come out of the Parks and Rec carry forward funds.
All right, so we have a motion on the floor. Motion up or down to allocate $2,200. $2,100 for the paint of the mural. All those in favor of the motion? Call roll.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Two.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for coming so
Thank
many
you.
times.
Yes. Bye, thank you.
Now we move on to the next item on the agenda, town of Miami Lake proposed concert with Ricky. And after we had it for, they came and said, 20% of their profit. Just so I can remind issue of
I second that motion. I second the motion.
Are that I just don't feel that Miami Lakes is the appropriate venue. The crowds are very, very large. I don't feel like we would have the kind of control that we would like to see. Maybe the kind of music and frequency. I've spoken with people from other municipalities that have had with them and Charlie Rodriguez as promoters and haven't always been very positive results.
I'd like to add, I think that the liability that it imposes on the town outweighs the gains that we're going to receive in venue in revenues for all of the organizations that they're going to contribute to. And that's why I'm opposed to it as well.
I just don't believe we don't have an amphitheater. Number one. Number two, I don't like knowing that my residents are going to be paying for a concert for something that our residents might not like, and that half of the attendees are probably not going to be Miami Lakers like we've done with our concerts.
No, I'm in agreement.
I just think he was too ambiguous with his presentation, about the security, the money, how it's going to be divided, how you're going to keep up with it. How do you know you're getting 20%? What are receipts? I think there's just too many things out there. I agree. Liability, I think, is too big because, when you do that, you just kind of, it's like a housewarming. You just open up your house, anybody that can come. I think we wouldn't have enough control with our police department. We'd have to have every policeman we have on the force just to have some kind of order. So I would not be in favor.
I have no additional comment, honestly speaking.
One thing is, I do like the idea though of having some sort of a concert, because weren't we going to do that for?
Yeah, we are. We have one. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And we have
Oh,
the
okay.
symphony thing too.
All
We
right,
have
I'm
nice concerts
behind.
here that attract our residents.
Okay.
The motion that was made by Superman, that we not. Second by.
Yes.
All those in favor of the motion, please. Call
I agree. Not to have it.
Yes.
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 Is Hispanic celebration. That time again.
We did the drive-through by the, no, I don't want to cook place.
Oh, the NQC, but you're talking about the Colombian one.
Yeah.
Right.
that's the last one, yeah.
That's the last in-person one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So this year, we need to look at. Share that. the last time.
I wasn't on the committee.
But we need to appoint a chairperson.
Yeah, Friday for someone.
This year, we need to determine which Hispanic diaspora celebrate. We did the Cuban.
I was gonna ask the same thing.
Why can't we just have, for diversity purposes, have a Hispanic event, period? And this way, everybody, we recognize everybody. Everybody who's from Latin America, who's Hispanic, from Central America.
Yeah, that's a nice idea.
Let's just do it. Let's start the year with everybody united, everybody partying, everybody celebrating.
I just want to give some context before you guys go ahead and make your choices. My understanding is that the reason that, usually all Hispanic countries are celebrated in the celebration of the month. The idea of doing a specific country was that so nobody would kind of get lost, because in celebrating everyone, you kind of don't, everybody kind of just identifies it all as one, people that don't know any better, I should say. So the idea of highlighting a specific country was to really get a whole picture of what that country and what that culture specifically is. That's all I wanted to share with you all.
Okay. Let me just say that. Celebrate Hispanic. Everybody who is diaspora would be invited to participate. We got somebody want to share? So let me see if I can. Someone.
Because it ends October 15th.
Oh.
Well, we'll do it for the May end October 15th, but we can do it for.
Yeah, we could do it.
Anytime.
Yeah, anytime in the month.
So, do I have any volunteers to work with us on?
I'm going to be out of town, so I'm not raising my hand. I'm sorry.
I mean, I wouldn't mind doing it. The only reason why I don't want to volunteer is because I have a lot going on at work.
Yeah.
My boss has he's out for 30 days. So yeah, so I'm like in hot water to begin with. Otherwise, I don't mind assisting at all, but I just have a complicated month.
I'm in the same boat, actually. So I have a heavy month, so, and I don't know what the chairing would entail, basically, so I'm not sure.
It makes it more simple. And
Have we done Mexico? What's Cancun? What's Cancun, Charles?
Mexican.
yeah, Mexico.
Have we done Cancun? Have we done Mexican?
I don't think so.
They do, Cinco de Mayo.
Oh, so isn't that in May?
I think in that way you can zero in on an organization and have them to give you a lot of input. Where you just make an umbrella, you gotta get somebody from Dominican Republic, somebody from Cuba, somebody from here, somebody from there, and it gets to be, we're talking a time crunch. You're talking about a lot of things, but if we zero in on one country, then I think it would be easier to get that person, get them to get the consulate, talk to them and talk about the food and all that stuff and maybe be a little easier.
Well, I'll work with anybody on this. Last time, we had really had such all of the
What person? That's a little note.
My family comes from Nicaragua.
That's why I was curious.
Because I was from Nicaragua.
Yeah, what restaurant?
El novillo.
Huh?
El novillo is Nicaraguan food.
Last time we did NRC, right, or NQC or whatever.
We have a novillo, yeah. El novillo.
That's a good restaurant.
So let's do this. Let's make a motion. And we're going to celebrate this kind of month of October.
Suzanne, can you help me with this event? Remember, I'm commuting from Monroe to Broward County, but I'd be willing to go to a Novillo. I've done an event there for another organization. I need help. I'm a commuter right now. If Suzanne can't, I can't take the responsibility.
Like, when would we do it? If it's in the beginning, I'll help you.
It would have to be at the end because we don't, it's
Right.
already October
Yeah.
1st, Friday, and the
Right,
first
I
thing we
know,
have
I'm
to do is
just-
speak with them
Okay, well, I was trying
toward
to
the
help.
end, toward the end,
Yeah, let's do something.
toward the end.
Yeah, end of October sometime. So we'll have this 3 weeks. All right. All right, so I have a motion.
Charles, can you help?
Yep.
Oh, good.
Celebration.
Can I ask one more question, Charles? Will you help like with the music or whatever? Okay, if Charles works at the music, our new representative helps us since she is Nicaraguan. Clarissa used to help us all the time with suggestions.
So with this year's celebration, we will focus on the Nicaraguan community.
Perfect.
All right, there's a motion on the floor to that. Like, you want to make that motion, please?
Make a motion that we celebrate the Nicaraguan community toward the end of the month of October.
That's perfect.
Any
Perfect.
discussion? All those in favor, please say
Aye.
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 aye. Let the record show. So that we have organization of food. And
I'll set up some kind of a agenda outline for you. You know, I'm a very specific person. And then I'll send it, I'll forward it to you and I'll coordinate it.
What about the 28th? I mean, let's do it on that. Friday night.
We did Saturday.
Saturday night. So.
No, we did this Saturday afternoon, I thought, when we were at
NRC or anything?
Yeah, that was a special.
Remember,
meeting
it's
because of
also
the floods.
Halloween week.
Yeah, you want to do it the
Weekend.
weekend
Yes.
before Halloween.
Weekend, Friday is the 29th. They won't be out for the 29th.
Is the 22nd too early?
It's too early. Is October the 29th? Well, that's a Saturday. That's
That's a day before. Halloween.
that's a,
The 29th or the 30th.
right. The reason Marielle just said the 30th, because are the kids gonna trick or treat on Halloween, which is Sunday? The 31st is trick Halloween. So I'm assuming the kids trick or treat on Halloween. So my question is, then should we do it on a Saturday? What do you suggest, Suzanne? You're the teacher that know how the kids are. The Friday or Saturday? The 30th? Okay.
Yeah, parties, Halloween
Most
parties.
likely.
I think you're better off on a Friday,
On the 29th?
huh? Don't you think?
Friday, the 29th.
Usually the 29th or 30th, preference date would be the 30th. 29th would be the alternative.
And the weekend before is too soon?
Yes.
Excuse me?
The weekend before is too soon? I just don't think you're gonna get, I mean, I don't know about a crowd that weekend.
Well, we're not, that's why we're not saying the 30th, because probably everybody's going to the adult
Oh.
Halloween parties on
Yeah,
Saturday. So we
exactly.
were
A lot of
thinking
people do
Friday,
Halloween
the
parties.
29th.
Oh, you're saying the 29th, okay.
Yeah, the evening of the 29th.
I think that's better.
We'll have it here.
Okay, I'm gonna check availability for you guys that the room is available. I just got confirmation that there is gonna be a kids Halloween activity on the 29th that the town is putting on.
That's the conflict.
I don't know if it's here, but the
During
town
the day
itself
or
is putting that
during
on.
the day or in the evening?
It'll be,
It's probably that thing that they did last year with the trick or treating with the car.
yeah,
On
it's
the west
whatever they
side?
did last year. It might look different this year, but
Yeah.
it's gonna be on the 29th.
During the day or during the
Well,
evening?
last time it started in the early afternoon and went into the evening for the older kids.
I can check for you guys. I'm not sure.
No, they don't have it here. They have it, well, last time they had it on the west side. It was like a drive-through because of COVID.
Children don't come to this events.
No, not necessarily. You're just not gonna get any.
All right, so let's do
Parents.
Friday, the 29th.
Okay.
Probably about 7 o'clock. Have to keep you all open.
That's how you normally do it. We,
Exactly.
Yeah.
yeah.
Some of you weren't here.
Right.
The 9 o'clock. They bring all kinds of decorations.
Yeah, I have a couple more details for you guys. It's the Nightmare on Montreal's Halloween event is what they're calling it, and it's gonna be taking place Friday, October 29th from 5 PM to 9 PM. It's Picnic Park West.
Yeah, that's what they did it last year.
But the parents, the parents.
The only problem is when you're dealing with the staff is kind of stretched thin, so they're gonna have to be in 2 places
Right.
at one time.
I mean, really, what do we have to do? Music, food, decorations? That's it? I mean, I can help with the decorations because that's something that I can do online. Like, I don't have to, just bring it.
The 22nd, Friday, the 22nd? Or is this, can we do that Saturday?
On the 23rd. Since I don't understand.
I'm gonna look, yeah, I can help with the decorations because that's something that I can do like when I take a break and work. When I go in.
I also do that. whatever thing that works, that's the day we go.
Okay, that's fine.
All right, next item on the agenda is the calendar. Since our budget has been approved, we gotta rank it up now. and start. Very substantial. So in October, again, we have. I think, minus the art.
Is that the Art Basel?
Yeah.
Is that it? That should be in December.
That's in December.
Okay. November.
Concert on February. A concert's in November. Yes, I sent a band that I saw twice. Very, very good band with a singer. They do, the background is incredible. They do any kind of music that you want. I think it's 6 members in the band, and they're interested if we have, if we're interested in them. I also saw a young lady, and I contacted her, but other 3, I think this band is probably the most appropriate. And also too, there's a DJ that I'm trying to run down. And for those that are new, we usually use the DJ from about 6:30 to about 7:30. And then at 7:30, we bring on the main act. And then about 8:15, we introduce the mayor and the town. And then they close it out about between 9 and 9:30.
I have an update for you all regarding the concert on the green. The staff did meet with the Shula's golf. And unfortunately, as you can all imagine with the staffing shortages that are going on right now, they can't commit to helping us because they can't even keep their course going fully.
That's why we're gonna move it back over to Mary Collins. Well,
Yeah. Was it Mary Collins?
yeah,
I know,
Well,
but
yeah.
that's what he calls.
okay, picnic park. November 20th, so Saturday night.
Is that the Saturday before Thanksgiving?
Yes,
Okay. That's a good
that's
date.
what we're trying to, we usually do that because
That's
the
good.
next week, starting Monday, people start traveling or they have
Yep.
guests coming in. Very few people do anything before that. November 20th. Yeah. Right. Matter of fact, yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we have our concert from Picnic Park West on
November 20th.
November 20th from 6:30 to 9:30.
I second it.
I also sent a link to, I have to get with you because I'm so used to calling Willie. So I have to get with you and so you and I can dialogue, okay? We sent a link of some of the music and if you want to, you can send it out to them and let them listen to see what they sound like. And then we can confirm it. That's what they asked about the budget. How much would they want to know what the budget is.
Yeah, we never tell them that.
What they asked was there a specific budget for the concert itself? Is there a specific budget? And we usually get pay the fee to the concert performer, and then all the others are extra around the lighting, the stage and all that. So we usually go from 1,500 to 2,500 for the artist. Right.
25 or
Right.
not to exceed the amount we paid last year.
This and that. You gotta have a stage, you gotta have a light and all that. What we have.
Neil, we should have that information from last year. Neil, remember that one event that we had before COVID, that they had that little Bacardi truck or the margarita truck? That made money, and if we were able to do it then, we should be able to do it now.
Yeah, he probably has it from the 4th of July too, because I'm assuming it's like the same trucks and stuff, right? Yeah. Got it.
And so I'm gonna make a public records request, so I can actually have it in my notes, because I've asked for this information several times. This is something that we should know as a committee, what it costs to have a state.
Yeah, should be standard.
Standard number. The more we ask, the less we get.
Yeah. Yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
I am gonna ask a public records request for the detail of that account. Where is the holiday event? I don't see it on the budget. No. I don't, I'm asking because I'm actually looking at the budget and I don't see it here, so I'm asking dates to make sure. The book reading you said was Nuri Barrett Kirchner in October.
No, the book, yeah.
Okay, so where are we gonna get the funds for Miss Kirchner? The October book,
From this budget.
if we're allowed to do carryover funds, that's what we're gonna do it. I know that, I
As
know.
long as we spend it now, right?
to do that.
I am a retired town manager. I understand what you're talking about, Neil.
I just want to make a comment. If there's any doubt, I can check for you guys only because, as I mentioned, the funds do need to be spent now. If you guys are looking at the current one and you're talking about the event happening in October, so there's no way that the funds will be spent in the next 2 days.
So
So
I'm
you
not
would
sure-
have to look at this
Yeah.
budget to cover the October book.
Well, wait a second, I have a question. No, but technically, if it's a hors d'oeuvres, like a charcuterie plate and wine, that's all we need for the book club, right? So then if we could purchase it now, we could save it to use it in October because it's something, we place an order now before September 30th. Somebody that does these platters, we'll buy them with the funds from this year and we'll purchase the wine. Okay, yeah, we should probably do that. Guess it depends.
Fingerprints, so.
I was just gonna say around that, if you allocate 500, you should be fine.
All right, so we have a motion on the floor, made by Mary. And we have not, this is currently for October.
Neary.
Mary for Nat Kirscher.
All right, there's a motion to a second.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, so let's take care of that.
Yeah, let's just make sure that somebody purchased it before the 30th, right?
Yeah, I can iron out details with you over a phone call, just so we can figure out you guys need to tell me the date so I can place the order, correctly.
For that date,
Yeah.
yeah.
We're talking about the wine. If we can buy a couple of cases of wine now.
Yeah, we
store
can
it.
purchase wine, but I know you also mentioned like
Like
charcuterie boards or
charcuterie board-
something.
Yeah, cheese,
But
wine,
if I need
cheese.
to place that order so that I can pay for it, I need to know a date so that I get the order. Do
Okay.
you guys have a date for that?
I'm gonna be
'Cause
very
I think
honest.
you need to
I'm gonna be
confirm,
very
right?
honest. You might be able to place an order, but the mere fact that you're not consuming it within the fiscal year ending September 30th, I don't think you can do that.
Yeah.
Well,
If
I don't
there's
know
any
if the
issue,
other
I'll
committees have
definitely
done it.
bring it up to you.
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
I'll double check.
But if we can buy at least a couple of cases of wine, I mean, I don't see what, we use that for a lot of events, Neil. So,
Let's say we found an extra order. Basically, it's the food.
Yes.
And say, okay, we-
Okay, do we want to reserve it, the date to be announced?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. Correct. We're trying to use it in this budget, whatever funds we have.
What? You don't think you can? It's what?
I will try
Oh,
my
really?
best, but in
Oh,
terms
well
of, for next, since it's in a month and you guys don't have any details for it, it might not work out. But I will definitely get back to you and let you.
I
know.
totally agree with you.
Just want to make you aware.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah,
to-
that's the thing. We have to reach out to her.
The latter part about. Okay.
Remember, we already have September, we have October 23rd already. So look at your calendars.
Yeah, that as long as we have like a week or so to promote it, that's super easy to put together.
You can even do that like though in the middle of the week, can't you?
Yeah, you can, on a Thursday evening, maybe.
Yeah, Thursday.
So it's nicer, like you're already like in the wine, like in the weekend mood already.
Do
All
that
right, so again, we look at the calendar for the month of October, and see if we can find
couple of days.
a couple of days. that we could do it. October is-
We could check, maybe you could check, if she could check if she's available either the 7th or the 14th.
That's short, no?
The 14th.
How about the 14th?
The 13th or the 14th,
That's better, I think.
or 14th or 15th.
Yeah.
Yeah, 14th
Yeah.
or 15th.
We're looking at the 14th or
October,
15th.
October,
Yeah,
Thursday is the
14th
14th,
Or
15th is the
13th or
Friday.
14th.
13, 14,
14th.
15th. How about 13, 14,
So
15?
give her a few dates.
Give her
Yeah.
3 dates.
And if it's early enough, then people.
To participate.
I think also if you throw in the 14th.
Yeah, I think the 14th should.
Yeah, I think
The
you're
third day.
fine. It's a book reading. It's not like you're gonna party, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I kept the 16th. I have a,
Who
a
knows
dinner, but-
this lady? Who's gonna contact her?
she will, right?
No, but I think in terms of you guys figuring out the event, you will have to confirm those details, but just let me know and I'll put it on everyone's calendar.
Yeah, who's gonna reach out to her though? Oh, okay. Oh, Nancy. Nancy. No, Nancy, she was here, the redhead.
Nancy Rogers.
Nancy Rogers, but Claricel has her contact. She's friends with
So all
her.
you need is the contact, you just need me to give you the contact.
Yes,
information?
can you ask Claricel? She has her contact info because she's the one that introduced us to the author.
So these are the examples we got there. So I still use my position. So we will, appoint people to share these with these other
I wanted to ask that too. There's concert on the fairway, which is not gonna be Picnic Park West. And the one, right, right, but we have,
We have another concept. Where we did, so we have two concepts.
and I think that we need to consider again our local residents. Michael, he's back in Tobacco Road, they're playing again. The one who,
Take your mask down.
Michael Mutt. We had about, right, because his price is very affordable, that's why. I don't agree. Yes. We have the memo.
Oh, it's right here.
In other words, you know, I want to get on the budget, now they're saying we're going to celebrate something.
And I have an exception that we can't find somebody in the United States that we can honor for human rights, for gay rights, for civil rights. we have many icons in the United States of America that I don't have to read something that says, who will talk about the inspiration against the valiant struggle against the Castro dictatorship. I think if the event wasn't approved on the budget, why are we receiving something? Why have a committee if they're gonna make motions like this and approve days when the committee doesn't have an input and we don't have funds for it? Or are they gonna are they gonna find the funds now to be able to have this event?
I would rather honor something like that. I prefer to be an icon of the United States of America. 16, 17, fighting and, you know, helping to represent
Human rights, women's rights, children's rights, right on the Rosa Park, right on the bus. I mean, there's so many American men and women who have done a lot for human, civil, and
Wait,
gay rights.
well, if we look him up, I just looked him up. He's a gay poet.
Yes.
Who worked against the
Right.
Castro dictatorship and who died here in the United States. So I don't know how long he lived in Cuba. So technically you're recognizing someone who lived here. Oh, they did it last year?
Yes, this is what they did last year.
Oh, so it was already proclaimed like his day.
Oh, I
So I guess they're suggesting if we want to do something for Pride Month, why don't we recognize, I don't know what they did last year.
All I know is that
just to make it clear, they make the population last year
Uh-huh.
for this done.
Oh.
Had it at a council meeting. Repeating again with Pride Month, the same person.
I see.
Why are they not something different?
I think it just depends on what it is that they did last year versus what they're, yeah. Yeah, I would do, yeah.
They did a proclamation, they presented. They actually did a presentation. They had two members come, they gave her the presentation. They gave her the proclamation and they declared that day. We have Ronaldo Arenas.
Arenas, okay. No, I think what they're asking from what I read here, and I think we should, inquire further, is basically to have him, I guess, talk about his book
No,
or the movie.
well, he passed away,
Oh, he passed away.
right?
Okay.
And there is a movie.
The Before
and
Night
he-
Falls, right?
He's definitely a poet, but what they're proposing here is an event in 2022 in recognition, I guess, of his work.
Yeah, it says that you could include select readings of his book or poetry, or you can even play the movie, the autobiography, Before Night Falls.
The whole, we're giving them the agenda.
That's
Yeah, it's a
exactly right.
recommendation.
Guest speakers, then include some speakers, poetry, and the finale can be-
It's a recommendation.
So maybe
Right,
the town,
it's a
maybe the
recommendation.
town can
We
fund
don't have
it
to
and the
take it.
town can do it.
No, I'm following what she was saying. It's just a recommendation, right? We don't have to take it up. I mean, the reality is, I think we'd have to come up with our own proposal, our own idea, and just sell it.
this comes from, the people who took it from the video.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's by way of the something.
Somebody presented.
They're making, it appears that they're making a request. from both of the feds to have some kind of event for the residents of Miami Lakes,
Right.
Yes, so recommendation. Follow the we are funded by them, we gotta respond to it. What I would take upon myself.
To the chair, the purpose, what you just said is not correct. A committee is, the purpose of a committee is for committee members to give recommendations. I respect the mayor and the council, but if you're gonna have the mayor and the council give you, like you said, like a little marching order,
No, I didn't say market.
Okay,
I said
recommend-
recommendation.
I think that we should also come up with something.
What are you proposing for us to, because it's kind of saying, because you're saying that you're recommending that we have some kind of,
Neil, I would ask for clarification because I have to say the Amparo experience was an amazing show that they put on in downtown Miami about the Cuban movement. Not necessarily about this man. So if they're involved in this, it may be something nice that will bring nice attraction to the town. So I would just, get more clarification.
That they're actually recognizing. And I think that we should take that and embrace it. That they
Put it in our budget.
It's not in the budget, but at least they're recognizing. Yeah.
No.
I second it. Hi.
Yes, about 3 weeks ago, I think everybody was here. For your information, I'm also on the Main Street Players. In matter of fact, the last play is being run right now by Victoria.
To the chair, I'd like to make a motion that we appropriate $2,200, like we just did for the youth activities, wall youth club, from this year's fiscal budget from the carry forward funds, because there is a current event occurring at Main Street. And if it is permissible to use carry forward funds, it is a cultural fair venue. I'd like to propose that we use $2,200, or what was the amount we were given to the youth? $2,100 from fiscal year 2021 to the Main Street Players to help them offset the current expenses of the current play running, and therefore leaving them extra funds to be able to work on their build out. That's my motion. Yes, only theater in town for the purpose of culture, and that we also use for the Christmas. We use that facility for the Christmas readings and it's been available to the Culture Affairs for other events. It's okay.
Dan, second.
Any more discussion?
Aye.
Can I ask for clarification? I looked on the website and I noticed that Bonnie Patchett is still a member. Wasn't that an open seat since last year? Is she's on the website? I looked because I wanted to
I
clarify.
can have, sorry to interrupt. We do have a new marketing, social media person, so I can have her go on and check that your committee roster is updated on the website. It may have fallen behind because the position was open for a while, but now that it's filled, I can have her look back.
And then to the chair, I sent an email to Claricel last week because it still says that our meetings are every Thursday, the third Thursday, how they used to be at. And I believe that now they're every third Monday, right, Chair? They used to be on, right, but they used to be on Thursdays. Okay.
In the other room.
In the website, it still says that. So I asked for clarification because I'm having to readjust my schedule. I want to make sure we're going to continue to have it on Wednesdays. Neil, on Mondays. We're going to stay on Mondays. Okay.
I'm missing a meeting right now.
Right. And that's why I'm clarifying because the website differs the date.
All right. Any other issues come before the body?
I'll make the motion.
Motion.
Second.
Let's go. Thank you. Aye.
Aye.
Great.
Bye.